Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Trenny and C. I am Trenny. We are missing C today because we have been doing these solo reviews and I have been privileged with the task of reviewing single malt scotches and different blends of scotch, occasionally like Irish whiskeys, but mainly scotch because that was my original first love in the world of whiskey. And some of these bottles have been sitting on our shelves just waiting to get reviewed. We may have unboxed them and we may have, used them in other videos, but now it's time to just kind of get them done and dusted and put away. But it's a great thing as far as I'm concerned because some of these you kind of forget what you have been missing or you haven't tried in a little while, and it's kind of nice to revisit these bottles. So today I have Kilkerran, which is from Glengyle Distillery. This is kind of like the sister distillery to Springbank. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because it's very kind of long and confusing and weird. Basically, Springbank and Glengyle are all a part of each other, owned by the same people. Brothers fought. They started their own distillery. They made up. They mothballed them. They started them again in the 2000s. Blah, blah, blah. It's a long kind of winded thing. You can just look it up if you want. But basically the point is now Campbeltown, the town, has Kilkerran or Glengyle Distillery putting out this product, Kilkerran. And they also have a Springbank, which is putting out some fantastic stuff like Long Row and the Springbank products. And the other one is on the tip of my tongue, Hazelburn. Anyway, so this one, I'm going to just pour a little glass. Oh, nice pop. This bottle is 46% alcohol. Good check mark there. 12 years old. Good check mark there. Natural color, non-chill filtered. The only check mark it doesn't have is that it is relatively pricey. Around here, I think I paid up to about $140-ish for this bottle, which when you're paying that much money, you're expecting big things. And for me, I am a big Springbank fan. I love that distillery. So I was kind of thinking it would be on the same realm, which it is. But, and I don't want to give too much away, but I've struggled with this one. I've had a hard time being like, this is amazing, where I've had that happen quite a few times with Springbank. But anyway, again, natural color, non-chill filtered. It's really, really pretty in the glass. It's just like a dollop of sunshine and honey in the glass, On the nose, again, this is one I, for some reason, struggle with a little bit. Everyone has talked about how delicious this stuff is and talked it up so much, and it being so high in price that I think when I kind of originally tried it, I was a little disappointed because it didn't give me an aha moment with it. But on the nose, it has some honeys. It has that kind of salty, sweet, lemon rind kind of a thing going on. It definitely has the saltiness there. Definitely some herbal notes. This bottle we've had open for close to a year, or maybe just about a year. And it still feels like a little bit closed off. I don't know why. I've added water to these ones, and one thing that is nice is you add water and it gets nice and cloudy. That Scotch mist arrives, and it does help, but by itself, I still find the nose relatively closed off, and I don't know why. Anyway, there's a little bit of that, little bit of pepper notes, a light underlying linger of smoke, some honeys, vanillas, those typical kind of things, cereal grain, a little bit, yeah, it's like a sea salt thing. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get into the flavor here. It is quite in your face. This one kind of puckers your mouth a little bit. You know it's there. It is definitely a little bit more of that kind of wood char on the flavor. A little bit more peppery. There is a little bit more of that smoky kind of wood char on the palate. It's kind of coated in a nice honey glaze, you would say. But there is something in the center there, that like mid-palate, that it's not blowing my mind like it does a lot of people. And maybe that's sacrilegious in the world of Scotch these days to say that about Kilkerran, but I'm just not as in love with it as I had hoped to be. Having said that, it's not a bad dram. There is a lot worse that you can do. It does have some different flavors. Maybe that's why I'm struggling with it, because there's so many kind of little layers and levels to it. Like it's smoky, it's bitter a little bit. It's almost metallic at times, but there is like a honey drizzle, a little bit of toffee. A little bit grassy. A little bit, do you know what it is, I think, actually? There's like a little underlying black licorice in there as well. Yeah, a lot of things going on. I can see why people do like it. And I think a lot of people would really, really love this one. Because it's not your typical soft, sweet Speyside. And it's not your typical like honey, soft, herbal Highland. It's its own kind of beast. And for that, you got to give it its own points. It's coming from its own region. It's really well made. They don't screw around with how they make their stuff. Not rushed through the stills. In fact, I'm pretty sure they 2.5 times distill this one. Anyway, try this one out. Go buy it. If you can find it for way cheaper than I found it for, then it's obviously worth it. But it's good to always expand your whiskey knowledge and expand those horizons and try all sorts. So go out, find a dram of this stuff, and, hopefully you do enjoy it. Again, I'm Trenny. Subscribe to Trenny and C. Click like, comment. We'll get back to you. Thank you for joining me. Cheers.
Trenny and C, drinking whiskey, describing all the flavors for you and me. Irish, Scotch, bourbon and rye. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why. Subscribe on YouTube.